And how much do you make?
When you're fighting a fire, $1 an hour. When you're on typical grade, you make $1.45 a day.
Some may not know is almost half of those men and women fighting fires are convicted felons.
How much money do you make?
$1 an hour. While others see it as modern-day slavery.
It's like going into combat, and that's what we're doing out there, really.
Are you shoulder to shoulder with the CAL FIRE firefighters?
Yes. Yeah, we cut line together. We be out there. We're not split up from them. Like, we're not like, oh, bring inmates over here and them. Nah, it's not like that. We all out there together. We all out there helping each other. Like, if I walk by one and I see a CAL FIRE or any firefighter and he need help or something with the hose or something like that, I help them. Because they'll help us too. We all here to help each other and make sure everybody's safe.
How much money do you make?
$1 an hour.
When you're fighting a fire?
Yes, when you fighting a fire, $1 an hour.
So how, for example, last night, how long were you fighting the fire?
Probably 20-something hours. So we probably made $20, $22, $24.
What do you think of that?
Well, I think we should make, of course I would say anybody that got a job, you would think you should make more. I thought we was getting $2 until I came to fire camp. But, you know, it's cool, though. I mean, we making money for something that we'll probably do for free anyway, just for the time cut. So it's all right. But I would prefer, yes, we get more money. Of course, anybody in a working position will want to make more money.
So you're saving the state, to say the least, a lot of money. Some say it's something like $100 million a year.
I don't know. I mean, of course that, I'm sure, but I mean, we don't even, some people don't even, we look at it as getting the time. The time cut is more than the money to us. We rather make the money for sure because we can still send money to our families. We still send money home, but yeah, we only make $1 an hour on the fires.
Can you vote?
No felons can vote.
You know, that's interesting because in Vermont and Maine, they can vote from jail.
No felons can vote in California.
Would you like to see that change?
Yes. But we can't talk about it.
This is, guys,
camp.
Okay.
camp only.
Okay.
Not voting politics.
Okay.
Camp only.
Some may not know is almost half of those men and women fighting fires are convicted felons.
23 ABC's Alyssa Flores visited one of the state's 44 conservation camps where inmates saved the state tens of millions of dollars on the life-threatening job in exchange for an earlier release.
It's like some of the hardest work I've done.
Make sure that the burn area doesn't get to the non-burned area, which make the fire spread.
12 hours at work and 24 hours to rest.
Hernandez, clear.
But it's not money these inmates are working for. It's their future freedom.
Hey, crew 2 and 4, breakfast is ready.
Most of my life I've been in prison, and it's basically the taxpayers that have been providing for me. So when they say I'm underpaid, it's a matter of perspective. To me, I'm overpaid because I'm being paid back with freedom.
I mean, for the inmates, the taxpayers, it's a win-win.
As California wildfire seasons continue to become more destructive every year, the state's 2,500 inmate firefighters are valuable resources, coming at next to nothing in cost and saving the state about $100 million per year.
There's people behind here, good people. Good, very good people that's back here working and pretty much breaking their backs out here for CAL FIRE and CDC to actually protect homes.
They are told they will never, ever be allowed to be a firefighter.
Currently, you cannot be a felon and become an EMT firefighter.
You're risking your life here.
It's exactly what's going on. Everything we do, you know, no one's really promised to come back.
And how much do you make?
$1 an hour.
When you're fighting a fire?
When you're fighting a fire, $1 an hour. When you're on typical grade, you make $1.45 a day.
Some have called it slave labor. What do you think of that?
I mean, we live in a capitalist society. At the end of the day, it's always about the money. It's always about this country It's always about the money. Slavery was about money. It was about money, right? Subjugate and discriminate, all of that was about money and power, because money in this country equates with power, right? So that's always the case. I mean, if they cared about giving back to the inmate, then they would pay them a living wage or pay them a decent wage, at least something that they could send back to their family. But they get in commissary money, if that, so they could get some cupcakes in the bar. So if that.
And it's kind of an ironic kind of situation where, in many respects, when you talk about slavery, you had some slaves who had to work until they received money so they can buy their own freedom. And when you look at the prison basically developed in a way of creating like a new form of slavery, where it says that, you know, all men are created equal, except in those cases of someone in the committance of a crime. And then they would be placed back into servitude.
Mass incarceration is a crime in the United States. Mass incarceration is the problem. It's part of the problem, and it's certainly not part of the solution in reducing crime. And I think the numbers bear that out.
The laws were made to keep us in there, and you end up in jail. And it keeps the assembly line going, one after the next. We end up right back in there. So they don't want to educate us. Why would they?
Being in prison, it takes away so much from the individuals. And these young Black and Latino men that's in prison, they are branded already as felons, ex-offenders, criminals. And this follows them most of their life. So when they come out, they have no means of employment.
It's actually a system to break the spirit. Like, that's really what it does, and that's what it's there for. It's not to reform, it's not to rehabilitate, which it should be, and it could be that, but it's not that.
The criminal justice system is really a criminal injustice system. There's no justice for people that live in poverty. Well, for me, I never took on one of them type of jobs. As I just mentioned, I always looked at that as slave labor. And my main objective today is to make sure no other youth end up like me. You know, I go around, I educate youth, I go inside schools, I go inside the schoolyards, I go inside the communities and I speak to the youth. And I share my life experience with them. And I show them how I fell off, how I strayed away, I deviated from my mother's Christian values and moral teachings. I didn't listen, I thought I knew the answers. And that's how I ended up doing the 27 years. You know, and that's very important to me, because I know them communities upstate, they benefit off of people like me. And I want to break that cycle. I don't want another youth to go through what I went through. And I take that serious, you know. And, you know, today, you know, like one of the things I said when I was leaving prison, I wanted to leave prison as a fireman, because I want to be equipped with all the skills and tools to come out here and put that fire out that's burning in my community. And that's what I want to do today.